It's another week in the garden and lots is happening. It almost feels like spring, and here in California it almost is. So I'm going to take you along and see what I've been up to. This is the bed with the cover crop that I cut down. Let's take a look and see what it's doing under there. I did add some water to it. It seemed like it was pretty dry. But you can see that it's breaking down a little bit, and the plant material's turning brown, and actually the stuff that's underneath you can hardly see now, and the cardboard, you really want to keep it wet under here because it'll break down quicker and encourage the worms to really come up. I actually did my plan for the summer, and in this bed I'm going to have cucumbers and peppers in here, and then I'm going to do an arch over the sidewalk here. So it's going to come from the bed all the way over to the edge of the sidewalk, and I'm going to have the cucumbers plant on there, so I'm excited for that. So the new thing I have this week is the green stalk, where I'm going to grow strawberries. And you see I have the little strawberries, and these are the strawberries that I got as little starts, 25 of them, and they really just kind of looked like that, and they've really greened up. I wanted to grow strawberries. I didn't really have room in the bed. Also, the bugs like to eat them, so it's nice to keep them off the soil. So I was hoping that this tower would do that. So in this bed, the favas are coming along, and the peas, they're really growing. You know, that it's getting warm, they're just going to take off. And I saw that the peas and the rest of it are coming along. You can see it there. So they're just starting to peek out. And then in this bed, I'm going to have summer squash growing in here. So once the peas are done, I'll be putting summer squash into this bed. And then this bed, the new thing is I took out, there was a whole bunch of mustard still left like this, and I put little kohlrabies in here. And you can just see the white stuff is eggshells, crushed eggshells, because sometimes I have problems with slugs and snails, and that keeps them off of them. And you can see what the kohlrabies look like, who I started in the fall. So this will grow from, a kohlrabi will grow here, and a kohlrabi is like a round, kind of like purple ball. And so I put more, over here I put cabbage. And in this bed, over the summer, I'm going to put tomatoes. So what I'm thinking is that the tomatoes will go more in the center here, and the kohlrabi will be done by the time the tomatoes are kind of big to kind of take over. And then the calendula, I've been picking them almost, every other day. I've been getting a good handful, which will be plenty for me to have for the hand salves that I do. And then this bed, again, I took out some plants and I planted, little I think this was a kale, maybe another kale. I'm going to keep this bed as greens kind of over the summer. So as plants get done, I will heavily compost and put probably more greens in here. But look how nice these collards are doing. Now my favorite thing to do with collards is use them in stuffed cabbage. So instead of the cabbage leaf, I use the collard leaf, and it's super yummy. And then this bed here, I just heavily composted the herbs because they're going to start taking off here. So you can see here I've mixed in a lot of my homemade compost in. So that's it for the yard this week, but I'm going to take you inside and show you how the seedlings are doing and the seeds. So this is the shelf that I have a light in, and I actually started the last of the tomatoes this week, but then I started some cucumber, some onions, the little peppers, they're ready to be stepped up. And I did some zucchini. But today I started some more of tomatoes, and this will be the last of starting the seeds. So now I just look forward to taking care of the seedlings, and I did step up some of the tomatoes, and I'll show you that. Here are all the seedlings, and these are peppers that I started up. And the little flowers. The seedlings I started in the trays weren't doing as well as the ones in the soil blocks. And I think the problem was that the bottom tray that I had it in didn't have any holes in it and was holding too much moisture. Because I planted out the seedlings that were in the soil blocks. So hopefully I gave these some fertilizer and they'll perk up. So you can see along here, these ones I started out earlier, and they're doing better. And then here are the little tomatoes that I stepped up, and they are doing super well. And I have a video on how I stepped them up, so look for that. And here's the greens. So overall, everything is doing well. I am looking forward to starting some new crops, but being patient, you have to be patient. I would love to hear what you're growing in your garden and where you're from. And let's see what the next week brings. And thank you so much. Look at Kitty. Kitty came out. There's Kitty getting some sun. She's a house cat, so she hardly goes out, and she's kind of skittish anyway. Hi, Kitty. You'll come out, get some sun. Look, Daisy's getting some sun. Waylon getting some sun. What do you think, Waylon?